Greetings to everyone. Such an honor to speak to you again. Let's give you a round of applause. Today, family, I want to chit chat with you briefly, excuse me, concerning the Sean Cuff Daddy Call case. How I would win this case if I was his attorney. No, I'm not an attorney. I'm a national certified paralegal for about 25 years. I am a bail bondsman, 30 years. I've helped many of my clients fight and win their cases, help them and their attorney fight and win their cases. I'm a retired real estate broker, 30 years. I'm a notary, so I've kind of been around the law field, and I love law. And I love putting myself in the place of defense attorneys and how we fight their cases. On this case, I would say the first decision that Sean Cuff Daddy has to make is whether or not to keep that attorney. I'm not sure this $3,000 an hour attorney has done a good job for Sean for the fact that he is locked up. I kind of believe this attorney got played on how that went down. And that Sean basically was willing to turn himself in and may had an agreement to turn himself in. But I think the prosecutors went and locked him up because they didn't want him to have a bond. They wanted him to appear as a flight risk. Now that's just conjecture on my part. So number one, Diddy, whatever his name, Daddy, need to decide whether to keep that attorney. Number two is whether or not he should go for a speedy trial. Normally, you have 90 days. I think in state courts, I'm not exactly what this year is in federal court, but somewhere 90 days, maybe, or 120 days once you've been indicted. They have to bring the case forward. Very seldom that happens on either side. Most time, defendants want to waive their right to a speedy trial. In other words, give it up. Because as Trump knows so very well that he can learn from Roy Combs, I think was the attorney, that generally the best defense for a defendant, from my own personal experience and helping others, is delay, delay, delay. Maybe somebody will go away. Maybe some evidence will go away. The other thing, family, is what is this case really about? To me, this case is about that video. It's about that, and there's no other way of saying that ass whooping that Diddy imposed on that young lady. There is no defense for that. In fact, I think a clip of that was used to entice or encourage the judge to deny come a bond. Because generally the Constitution gives you the right. Well, the Constitution gives everyone a right to the bond, not the judge. The judge decides how much and what type. And on certain rare circumstances, like where there's a capital, well, the Constitution says where there's capital offense. Uh, on certain capital, the judge in this case is claiming that Diddy might be a flight risk, and because of his wealth and his fame, perhaps, and that it appears that Diddy or some of his surrogates attempted to contact one of the witnesses. So he basically denied Diddy the right of a bond. That may or may not be uh, legal. So that would play out eventually in the appeal process, the real of the case. The other thing about this case, to me, my experience, is all about that video. It's It's all about that video. If there's any way the defense attorney could get that video inadmissible, Trump, Sean, has a better chance. The other thing is how many victims in this case? I'm pretty sure the star victim or witness will be Cassie. I can't think of her first name right now. The young lady that allegedly on the call that he stopped. I don't know how many other victims there are, maybe one or two, because family, friends, loved ones. I don't see the sex workers as victims, the prostitutes as victims. The sex trafficking, to me, that's a little stretch on the prosecutor part because Diddy was paying. He was more of a trick than a pimp. And this is kind of basic pimping is basically the origin of the sex trafficking. Generally, you think of a pimp taking a prostitute cross state lines, or now in modern terms, also people stealing babies and underage girls and boys now, and actually kidnapping and selling them to other parties. So if he can overcome that part of the charges and get that kind of broke down, or at least in the mind of a jury, particularly a male jury, that's an old fashioned domestic violence, that was kind of lower the temperature. And remember, he only needs one vote. The male workers and prostitutes, they was getting paid. I don't see no victims there. Um, I'm gonna stop right here. There might have been some. Let's see, family, right quick. Is there any other things that I want to discuss with you today? I will be visiting this again. Uh, his addiction. I think his addiction will mitigate his sentencing for sure. And he might be able to raise that to overcome what's called mens rea intent. That he intention that he did just. In other words, did he defense could be? I was a junkie. I don't know what the hell I was doing. In fact, he might not. That pretty much could be the case. So basically, back to the sex workers and the sex trafficking. Diddy wasn't pimping, he was tricking. As far as, bringing in the tax evasions and no one spends life for taxes. And far as tampering with a witness, that can kind of be dealt with, depending on the credibility of the witness and what they actually have. So, family, I'll hold it right here, right now. I know that was quite a bit, but family, remember, if you have legal questions, other legal questions, consumer questions, I'm your guy, 24/7, 365. I'm 78 years old. I've been around this legal system a long time. I've been bonding people out of jail for 25, 30 years. I fought a few cases of my own. I kind of understand this process. Oh, quickly. The other thing about federal courts, people are always speaking about their rate, conviction rate. Actually, the conviction rate is not as high. What they have is a plea bargain rate. And the reason the federal government have such a great plea bargain rate, I think it's 95, 98%, because they don't rush into charging like states do. The state would charge you on the drop of a hat. Federal government takes it's nothing for the federal government to take years investigating and putting a case together. We kind of saw that with how long it took for them to charge Diddy as to when they originally searched his home. But on the other hand, family, when they do go to trial, because they very seldom go to trial, their win rate drops way down. future videos, I'll give you those ratios, but it's way further and even further when the defendants have ample money to fight the resources of the government. This is why so many high profile people walk on their cases because they can afford the technology, DNA, whatever it takes. They can afford their own expert. And finally, they can also pay for witnesses. So, family, friends, loved ones, this is gonna be exciting. I'm gonna follow step by step. I'm gonna keep you informed. If you enjoyed this, hit my like, hit my subscribe, help me grow. I'm a 78-year-old young YouTube trying to show other seniors that you can do this. And also, family, be good to yourself, teach yourself, and finally, family. It's crazy out here. So relax, chill out. Thanks to me. Peace.